Hey everybody, Doug here from 2 Plus Tough, and we have some pretty cool news today. If you haven't kept up with the Warhammer community page, a new article dropped this morning that I'm very excited about because it means more stuff for me to talk about and new ways for new players to get into the game. So I couldn't be more pumped about it. As a side note here, I just want to slip in while people are filling into the chat that the Skaven Lore Week is going to be delayed just a little bit. The winter storms up here have delayed pretty much everything FedEx is doing, when that's how Games Workshop tends to move their product. A lot of the stores can't get their hands on even their pre-order stuff, as well as it's assumed that's what happened to my copies. I was supposed to get 2 copies in advance for Flesh Eater Courts and Skaven. I'm assuming that's what happened to them. No actual idea, but if you are in the chat, let me know if you can see and hear me A-OK. And so we're going to talk about some cool stuff that came out in the articles today. If you wouldn't mind, it would be extremely kind of you if any of you have Twitch accounts to go watch this over on Twitch. The reason is because if I become a partner, I have more control over ads and I can actually help turn them off and stuff like that. And that's ultimately what I want to do. So yeah, if you could do that, go watch it on Twitch. It would mean the absolute world to me. You would have my thanks, and I'll just kind of ramble for just a quick bit while we do that. So like I said, the Skaven Battle Week is going to be a little bit delayed just because of the weather. However, I'm obviously going to do it. I'm so excited for that book, and all excited for just all the folks over there. Mutu over in Twitch says A-OK. Awesome. Thank you so much for chiming in. Just let me know everything's working fine for you. So let's not dilly or dally anymore, and we're going to head over. Let's see here. Take Over Mars came over from YouTube. Thank you so much. Yeah, there's kind of all kinds of things where like you have to have an average of 3 viewers per like show, and so it really does help me to be able to do that kind of stuff. So let's go over and we'll chat about this. Let me make sure that transition just worked well. It did. Okay, cool. This new software they have set up has all kinds of cool like quick keys and things like that. So as you can see, I have my chat for both channels over on the right, so I don't lose anybody. Thank you all so much for joining me. And today's article we are diving into, I wanted to cover 2 of them, but the most important one, the one that you came here for, was new start collecting boxes. Now, I remember there being a rumor about Deepkin and Maggotkin getting a start collecting box each, but that was weeks ago, and I kind of just forgot about it. I mean, they're awesome factions. No one had any details about what would be in them. It was all speculation, so I kind of just put it off to the side. Starts off with, you guys like saving money, right? Of course. We've got good news for you. 2 new start collecting boxes will be landing very soon. Both of these sets are cracking ways to expand existing collections and focus on 2 incredibly popular armies, both released last year, and they are incredibly popular. So, first one is Deepkin. Let's take a look at Deepkin. So, okay. I thought they were not going to have eels. Oh, sorry, for people who are driving and things like that, you get 1 set of eels, which they always have the optional part. So it's either the defensive eels or the aggressive ones. They kind of have one that fills each role. So we have that, and then also a unit of Namarti thralls, right? The basic melee dudes who are super awesome. And then the hero of the box is the Soul Render, I believe is his name, the one who looks like a living anglerfish. The thing is, okay, let's talk about this. So, first of all, as far as dollar value, I'll talk more about what my thoughts on pricing and stuff like that in just a smidge, but the dollar pricing, I think the new prices for start collecting boxes go from anywhere from 85 to like 95, if I'm not mistaken. I know the Beast of Chaos went to 90, I believe. I'm not quite sure, but we'll have a different video talking about that. But anyway, so you're going to save quite a bit of money because the eel kits are not cheap, the thrall kits aren't cheap, the hero, he's all right. Hey everybody in the chat, Mecha Sushi 6, that's awesome. So when I'm thinking about, we're going to look at this from 2 perspectives, right? A new player and an already engaged player. So a new person, I think, is definitely the easier one. If you were to grab this box in your start collecting box, you have some pretty cool synergies you're introducing people to the game with. You have the bringing people back from the dead mechanic that the Soul Render can do to the thralls. If I'm not mistaken, that's his jam, which is pretty cool. And also the flexibility of the eels to be whatever you need. It's an incredibly fast set of models. They all have a high movement value. going from a competitive standpoint, more competitive, not my level, 2+ tough level of competitive. The inclusion of the eels over the Alapex shark dude is awesome. I mean, I assume these guys are like eventually get a nerf, or at least everything. What I really want is everything else to get a buff, so they're kind of more internally balanced. But the inclusion of the eels is an incredible choice. Players are going to want them. I would suggest going defensive eels because those thralls can do some real work if you let them get into combat. And on that note, I'm glad they included these guys and not the ranged variant, the Reavers, because I just feel like the basic thrall unit is kind of overlooked by a lot of players. They get so many attacks, 3-up, 3-up. They have rend on a stick. They can all do that. It's so good. And to just be ignored, for the most part, overshadowed by eels. Again, internally balanced problems in the book. But you'll get access because you have a hero. You have all kinds of artifacts and command abilities. And yeah, I think it's pretty good. They don't have the big centerpiece model, but I think the eels kind of act as that, especially for the army. What's cool is that you can add in a... Volturnus is the named character, but the Achillean King, and make both of these battle line, right? Because the thralls are already battle line, then you make the eels battle line. All of a sudden, you're enough to have start building towards a 1,000 point list with whatever you want from there. I think it's a solid choice. If you're an existing player and you just want more eels, it's not bad. I mean, if you don't value the thralls, I think the value kind of decreases significantly because the thralls and the soul render, they synergize well together. So if you don't like either of those things, it's probably pass on it. But I think for new folks, it's awesome. And I mean, just from a modeling perspective, with the exception of like the turtle, I don't know. I just think the eels are some of the most iconic visually units to get people excited about the army. So I like that one. Next up is the Maggotkin of Nurgle Star Collecting Box. So we have here one unit. This is much more than I thought they were going to give you for a Maggotkin starter. So you have a set of the hefty boys riding flies. Okay, I can't remember the name of them. But the thing is that I didn't expect those to be included. So these two guys up here, and remember, you can build them, or at least one of them, as a hero variant. So that's kind of cool. So you have those two. You have a unit of 5-man Blight Kings, as well as a Lord of Blights. Lord of Plagues is the one with the two-handed axe. So this would be the Lord of Blights. And all in all, that makes a super awesome starter set. In fact, I like this one more than the Deepkin one, to be honest with you. You get less models, but they are big. They are indicative of the faction, right? If this appeals to you visually, you're going to love everything else in the army, right? Whereas with the Deepkin stuff, I feel like if you want to take it to the next level, you'll find the Star Collector box being cool, and then if you fall in love with the eels, it's a very different kind of investment to go all eel versus just all of Deepkin. But this is like, no. Everything in this box you'll want. If you want to start playing Maggotkin as an army, you could easily buy 2 or 3 of these, because then you could have a whole bunch of Blight Kings, multiple Lords of Blights, and their buff is amazing. And then these guys, you can build them as a couple units or make the hero one, that kind of stuff. I'm very excited about it. So pause here. I'm going to hop over the chat. Thank you everyone who moved over to Twitch. You really are helping the channel by giving me more control on that platform. I really do appreciate it. Let's see here. Old Witch Doctor, can't wait for this to further ruin my personal economy. Yeah, dude. Let's see here. Robert Marshall, I like the army. I'm just committed to spooky ghosts, and I'll probably be picking up a Star Collector box. Sweet. Joseph, will you review the Skaven Battle Tome? Yes. At the top of the show, I made it clear that in the Pacific Northwest, a FedEx facility went down for like several days. So orders are super backed up. Many stores here can't even get them. And my pre-release, GW was going to send me early copies, and they never arrived. So I was like freaking out. I was going to go to a store and buy them, and nobody has them. So we're just chilling. Back to this. So I'm very excited about that. The amount of bits that you get from the Blightkin set, man, it's just great. Like if you ever wanted to expand by taking like Slaves to Darkness, you can really kit them out in fun and unique ways. I think this is just a super stellar deal. The fact that you can build, I think it's this guy as the hero. Is that the actual hero? No, because the hero guy has a different weapon. Okay, but yeah, it's just really, really cool. As far as ways to expand, again, I would, if I was going to go heavy into Maggotkin, which I might one day, because I like the idea of investing that much time into each individual model. Buying 2 or 3 of these is, I don't think, a bad move at all. So those are the 2 Start Collecting boxes. I'm going to open it up here to questions and thoughts. But of the 2, I personally like the Maggotkin one more because the army has a lot of versatility. The thing about both of them is they are both factions that want you to buy terrain. And so is the Beast of Chaos one. It's not super new or unique. The Sylvaneth one wanted you to. It's just one of those things. I'm always leery of those kinds of armies because when a new person buys a product, I want them to feel like they have a complete product. So there's that. But the fact is, the Maggotkin Contagion Wheel, it happens without having a tree to start with. You know what I mean? You just get points for being in your deployment zone, having models in your enemy's deployment zone, that kind of stuff. So I feel like they're less necessary, but they are very important. Whereas the boat, it's honestly, you can probably just skip the boat for a while. If you're a brand new person, you're buying maybe 2 of these if you really like the thralls. And then I would kind of move elsewhere from there. But yeah. Nurgle has become a tempting faction. Yeah, dude. It's pretty great. It's always been really cool. I've held off because Mark has such a stunning Maggotkin army over on Rerolling Ones that I just what am I going to do? Compete? I don't need that. But I've always kept the Glotkin just in case. He's my just in case model where I can be like, I've already got almost 500 points Maggotkin. It won't be too hard. Moving into just kind of highlighting some of the stuff that came out. They have their, I think, female commissar, Severina Rain, who I know Shu from Rerolling Ones is super pumped about. I think it's really cool. Me and Jack made jokes that her hat's a little too big, but that's just kind of a reoccurring theme in Warhammer universes. Colton, the Twitch channel is Twitch/2plustough, all written out. I would pull it up, but for some reason, pulling it up on my end while I'm feeding to it crashes everything, so we're not going to do that. Let's see here. And for Warhammer Underworlds, if you do follow that game, first of all, kudos, awesome, hope you enjoy it. They're bringing out some new, let's see here, what is it? Just new board sets for you, yeah. So they've introduced a few new things with Night Vault, as far as trap places and that kind of thing, so it is very, very cool. Inside the Forbidden Chambers, which is interesting because we're looking at a new box set called Forbidden Power, so that's kind of cool. Board pack, you'll find double-sided gaming board with some unusual features. The first side allows you to set up 3 fighters adjacent to one another. It's ideal for defensive groups. That is, I only played the game a few times, but that is very interesting. I could see Stormcast enjoying that a whole lot. And the second tide contains a group of 3 lethal hexes, making for a deadly deterrent. I assume these 3 red things here are the 3 lethal hexes. That is kind of neat. I think, it's not, at this point, it's one of those games that has a lot of bloat to it. If I was going to jump in, I don't feel like I can just grab one warband and just start playing. I feel like I'd want to have the other ones for their cards and abilities and things like that. But small things like this where it's hey, here's a cool board. You know what I mean? That's just not something you see in other games. I like it. Overall, I do like it. Kenzie's not sure about the Commissar. I'll blow it up here just so people can get a better look at it. If you are driving, it is I'm trying to think, is that a vastly different pose from the current Commissar or just the one dude? I feel like, I guess the other guy has a power fist or like that. It's got a bolt pistol, sword, and got one leg up on a rock. She looks cool. She doesn't have the same kind of impressiveness as, I don't know, I think some of the other models have cool, more striking poses, but that's really cool. Found it. This is Colton. Thank you so much for heading over to Twitch. I super duper appreciate it. And let's see. So, as far as these boxes, Old Witch Doctor says, embrace the temptation to buy a Maggotkin. My group is gearing up to start second factions. What's a good thematic foil to disciples of Tzeentch? When you say foil, do you mean ways to screw up, counter to Tzeentch? Because if so, the corn stuff is pretty great. They can unbind. Yeah, I like that. Let's see here. There's some different one. There's some different one, but I prefer her over that. Okay, you're talking about the female commissar. Yeah, there's some different poses, but you prefer that one to the one that comes in the Star Collecting box. That is fair. Okay, so we're gonna head over to another article, which I actually haven't read ahead of time yet. I usually try to, but it's just talking about Black Library books. Or wait, I thought I clicked on the Black Library book one. Black Library Celebration. Okay, starts off with an article introducing Severina Rain, the female commissar. And I'm sure the book just comes out with her model just to be in support of, hey, here's a cool character. And never mind, that was it. I thought usually when they say Black Library specifically, Black Library Celebration 2019, I kind of expected there to be something for AOS, but that's okay. So we'll just keep chatting about these two Star Collecting boxes. This is certainly the biggest news, though, because both of these are armies that are definitely more elite, and they have higher price kits. And one thing I will say is I think getting these boxes is a direct result of Games Workshop moving away from the strictly $85 for a Star Collecting box model they had. By that I mean, it used to be, if you are super new to the game, that every Star Collecting box universally, without question, was $85 straight up. And recently, in the last 3 to 4 weeks, I don't actually remember when it happened, they announced it quite a while ago and gave us plenty of time to stock up if we wanted to. But they said, hey, we're going to change the model of how we sell things. And so, business model, not miniature model. And change it to where we have some more leeway with those prices. So it could be $85. We'll check out and see what the actual... Awesome, everybody. Okay. Not sure why my stream just cut out there. I really do apologize for that. People said lost you. I'm going to start minimizing this just to keep an eye on the end stream button, make sure it's still on. Not quite sure why it does that every once in a while. I'm not a huge fan. I don't want to limit myself to one platform like YouTube or Twitch, but that might have to happen if the streaming problem keeps up. Regardless, what I was saying was that I think that GW's ability to now price things between $85 and $95 is a kind of the freedom they need to be able to put bigger, heavier duty model kits that are more expensive into these Star Collecting boxes. I do apologize for the stream dying. I'm not sure why that happened. Nothing happened. I didn't do anything to warrant that. But let me turn this off real quick. Okay. So, yeah, we've kind of explored both of them. I did the math. I'm not sure if the stream was live when I did it or not, but did the math on this Maggotkin of Nurgle box, and it was $145, and I'm sure it's going to come priced at $95. So, that is pretty stinking cool. I didn't do the math on the, what do you call it, Deepkin box yet, but that's pretty cool. Now, as far as both of their abilities, I like the fact that if you grab these sets and the Battle Tome, you're pretty well set for a little while. And the reason I say that is because the rules for these factions, like their allegiance abilities, don't really seem to be tied to what units you take. I love the fact that the Maggotkin wheel happens all the time. No matter what models you take, it's always good for you. That's fine. And then also the Deepkin thing, you can build around their allegiance ability, like having stuff go off every turn, and the way the buff stack and stuff like that. I don't know. I think it's really cool that they built out these boxes. So, let's see. I'm just gonna head over to the chat. I'm sorry, everybody, that it died for just a quick sec, but maybe this chat thing is the problem. I might have to get rid of that at some point. Find an alternate solution. I apologize. Let's see here. Battle Brother Seraphon want me to take a crack at troubleshooting that issue as well, Doug. Yeah, as if you don't know, Battle Brother Seraphon here is the tech genius who helped me figure out how to get game streams to work on the channel. We can definitely work on it. Reach out to me, but basically it's the idea of I shoot my feed for the live stuff into a program called Restream, which then shoots it both to YouTube and Twitch. And so if I interact in any way with either of those things, stuff goes awry. I'm not quite sure why. But I am excited about everything here, and I think these sets are going to be really awesome for us. I really do. I really do think that the Maggotkin one is a stronger choice for army building, but I do like the Deepkin as a better way to get into that faction. What factions can you guys think of have no start collecting boxes? What do you think? Let me see. I'm just going to look at Grand Alliances here, because I'm kind of curious. So, Daughters of Cain desperately needs one. I saw that in the chat earlier, and that is absolutely true. Daughters of Cain needs one. I want them to make a Free People's one, so I can like start getting a whole bunch of not guardsmen but rifle guys. Dispossessed would be sweet for sure. The Moonclan Grots, sorry, the Gloomspite Gits, because I want them to include Spider Riders and everything into that umbrella. They need one for sure. And I think that's pretty much it. There's a couple death ones already. Destruction. Yeah, looking good. Gutbusters would be a cool one. I did hear rumors about a Gutbusters set at some point, but again, it's the same thing with these two where it's like, I just didn't think about it because it's been a while since I heard any rumors about start collecting boxes. Old Witch Lector says, Free Guild, Wanderers, Darkling Covens, don't have one. Gutbusters, Daughters of Cain. Yeah. Darkling Covens would be an interesting one because it's so infantry based. It's very heavy infantry based. I hope it gets a Battle Tome. I think that'd be super cool. That's actually one of my favorite. Them and Free People are my favorite General's Handbook allegiance abilities and stuff like that. And and Generals Gaven, not just Clan Pestilence. That's a solid point. Now that the army can be mixed up and stuff like that, that is sweet. Beyond those things, I have nothing else. I was kind of hoping that Black Library thing would be about more than just 40k. But beyond that, and they do have, was it released this week, is the what are they called? Not Quest, the kid stories. I can't think of what they're called. But that should be coming up here pretty soon. And that's kind of exciting because I do want to get those and give a very thoughtful review. They were mocked quite a bit when they came out, but I think that they warrant saying like, hey, I mean, I work with kids, with youth and development and that kind of stuff. And so I think it'd be good to take a look at those things and have a legit opinion about them. Let's see here. Old Witch Doctor says, if Gutbusters were to get a set, they would need a plastic hero. Do they not have oh, they don't. Because they're all Finecast, right? That's a bummer. That is a solid bummer. Let's see. Renato says, to me, the start collecting is a perfect... the SC, is because I needed exactly 3 more eels and 10 more thralls. That's awesome. Let's see. M41 Stream says there's a new Warhammer Underworlds game in the throne. Yeah, we can talk about that, actually, because I wasn't super... I was already past that time. Wasn't super blown away. Let's see here. So, first of all, this came out at a toy fair. So it's not like their premier places to advertise to their audience. So keep that in mind. Just a lot of board games, that kind of stuff. And we see Combat Arena, which is a 40k. It looks like... honestly, it kind of looks like a mini version of Shadespire. It's got the hexes in the map. Actually, it kind of looks a lot like, what is it? Gore Chosen, where you have the heroes in each corner, and you always kind of kill each other, and there's some obstacles printed out on the board. So that'd be kind of cool. A lot of these, I'm looking at these for conversions, and I'm like, this guy is not too far off from being a really cool, like, Free People's hero. You know, replace some stuff, get the sci-fi looking things off, but a lot of it's like super old tech metal. I don't know, I like it. Let's see here. Yeah, there's some stellar models here. Looking fly. Okay. And then Storm Vault, which is a cooperative fantasy adventure game, which I'm not going to lie to you. Board games, when they get a little complex, overwhelm me visually, and this looks very overwhelming. I have no idea what's going on here based on what I'm looking at. But sounds cool. People like it. I'm happy for them. This is the kind of product that fits in really well at that toy fair, though. And then the one that M41 Stream was talking about was Dreadfane. And so this is an expansion to Warhammer Underworlds, for sure. There's going to be some unique cards in there. However, if we look at the models, These models have existed before. This is the start painting sets. Not the Stormcast one is, I think, for Sequitors. The Ghosties, they're another set, but they already exist. They're kind of reprinted out in different color plastic, which is fun, and stuff like that. The thing is, as opposed to the Night Vault, where it's introduced magic as a mechanic, this doesn't seem to do a whole lot. And it's aimed at new players, which is cool. I wonder, when they say aimed at new players, as far as like onboarding them into a game that already has like 10 or so sets of cards already in existence, like how does that work? So I'm interested in that, and this is one of the few times we've seen GW do like an ongoing product that they've been continuously adding things in large quantities to. Like obviously you have new units for new armies for AOS and 40k, but this is like it is designed from the ground up to be a competitive tournament style game, and it's kind of their foray into that, and they keep adding new factions pretty regularly with cards that work for multiple factions. So I'm curious when they say this is a new player thing, what that actually means. And it seems cross compatible. We have veteran players will be able to pit their warbands against the terrors of Dreadfane, so it's all gonna be compatible, which is awesome. I'm just kind of curious as to how they set new players up to be able to enter into the competitive play as it is right now. And they formally showed off the box art and everything that for the Funko Pop things. Fun fact, I actually work like 8 blocks from the Funko place in Everett, Washington, their home base. It's kind of cool. They're doing a second season of Space Marine Heroes, which doesn't super interest me, but some people like them. Let's see here. Okay, sorry, the Blight King at the bottom here caught my eye. But Dreadfane it's cool. The thing is that Jack and I was talking about it when we played Vermintide on Friday night, where when Underworlds came out, I was at a point in time where I wasn't getting a lot of games of AOS in. I had this channel, it was going full steam, but I was struggling to get games where I had to drive almost 40 minutes south to go play with the guys at Rerolling Ones. And that's kind of changed now, where I have a weekly gaming group that I'm excited about. But the thing is that at the time where it launched, where the most hype would have been, anytime I was going down to see them, I would just much rather play AOS than actually play Warhammer Underworlds. And so that was kind of the issue. And now I feel like I'm very far behind. So I am curious, excuse me, to see this set. If it's something that I feel like I can get into and on board well, I might take it to game night. And that would be something that a lot of viewers would like, because people ask me about this game quite a bit. Not all the time. I think most people on this channel are more into the full AOS experience, but I do get asked about it quite a bit regularly. So that might be something new. Again, it depends on how well they can integrate new players and stuff like that to an existing ongoing thing. Let's see here. I do look forward to that Sylvaneth warband. Yeah, dude, they're all looking... the warbands are amazing. It's just... yeah, they're just good. And that's why when someone was talking about the... I'm going to switch games here. There was someone at one point talking about the idea of when they come out with a new kill team for AOS, maybe they just use the warbands that were created for Shadespire and that kind of stuff. And I was like, at first I was like, oh, it's kind of lame because you can't play everything. But the minute went by and I was like, that would be incredible because these models are amazing and I have no reason to buy them right now. So that would be really, really cool. But I don't think they're going to do that. The current rumor spread is that it's going to be just like Kill Team, where you buy pretty much everything and you build an army with that. So, like I said, not entirely sure. But I'm so pumped about everything that's coming out, even though we don't have any information. I think the next reveal thing is Adepticon, if I'm not mistaken. I think it is. Let me double check right now. When is Adepticon? Adepticon.